Best thing I can tell you about this Aries new moon on April 8th is that it's a time for planting seeds for the big conjunction of Jupiter Uranus happening on the 20th. Really and truly on April 8th, around April 8th, we're going to really want to be planting the seeds, right? Turning the page, the next chapter, stepping into the new. What is it that really supports our future visions, our highest path forward, our trajectories? Here's the thing that I love saying around this is, what's the big scary? Like, that's the question to ask yourself. What's my big scary? What's the big scary thing? That's the North Node. That's highest timelines. That's highest potentials. That's your unique genius, is what's my big scary currently in this moment, right? Because the big scary will change in a year and then in 2 years and 5 years. But we need to go to the current big scary. That's the one, right? Like, what is the biggest, scariest thing that feels so true and lights you up but is scary? That's the one. That's the one we want to aim toward. It's the one we want to plant seeds for. So what are the seeds you need to plant for that? That's what this is about. Then when the Jupiter Uranus, this is grace. This is good luck. It is good fortune. It is good luck. It is grace. It's in Taurus, so it's tangible. It's earthy. It's physical. It's like grace and good luck is able to penetrate into the physical, right? Into your body, into your life, into objects, into the things that we're calling into our lives, into the things that we're letting go of in our lives, that we're creating, that we're building. Here's another really great question to ask ourselves. What are we building? What are we building? And maybe not just looking at it short term. What is it that you're building? Maybe you're feeling more like, what is it I'm building that I'm going to leave behind? What is it that I'm building for, that I'm planting seeds for? It's not a time of like they're coming to culmination and we're at the harvest of what we've created. It's a time that we get to create the new and we get to plant seeds. So a little bit more about this April 8th eclipse. Aries, what is Aries? Aries is fire. Aries is action. Aries is moving forward. Weirdly, though, Mercury is in retrograde. So that's the mind has gone backwards. The mind has gone inwards. The mind is doing revisiting, revising, reflecting. So if you can hold both, like planting seeds while revisiting, revising, reimagining, all the words, that's Mercury retrograde, right? And so it's an interesting thing. So it's like parts of us other than the mind, just feel into what that means for you. Parts of us other than the mind might be taking action. Like your spirit might be taking action. Your emotional body, your energy body might be taking action, but your mind is not. Your mind is more like, okay, that's taking action. Let me review, revise, revisit the things that I can comprehend, the things that are tangible to me to support what my spirit is taking action on, what my energy body is taking action on. Isn't that weird? Like, that's a wild thing to meditate on. That would be a beautiful exploration to deepen into. By the way, there's 9 practices in the Aries new moon astrology video on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that yet, right, we go into all the astrology, the archetypes. There's this awesome healing potential with Venus Hygeia. So what's the feminine doing in this astrology? Venus is conjunct Hygeia, Kundalini, goddess of miraculous healing. This is a huge opportunity for healing. Part of the healing, of course, because Hygeia is in the mix, Asclepius is in the mix, and so is Chiron. They're all massive healing archetypal energies, deep, profound, big healing, but it's a fated time, it's a destined time. So it's really like the healing that is on offer right now is what will help to propel us into our destiny, what will help to propel us into our unique geniuses, our highest timelines, because the eclipse lights up the soul path. So Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss, right? What is it here that you've come to do, right? Like, what is it that really, truly, genuinely is the song your soul wants to sing? So it's a moment in time where here's the healing that needs to take place so you can sing your song. Isn't that cool? So feel into that question too. What's the healing that needs to take place so I can sing my song? So let's go back to this. Hygeia is conjunct Venus. That's the primary aspect of self, the lover in us, the passion, the flow, our value systems in us, right? So Venus conjunct Hygeia, that's miraculous awakenings. That's spiritual. It's also can be very physical. Can really be physical as well when working with Hygeia, right? Her healings are often very grace-filled and very ease-filled and very gentle, right? They're oftentimes, they can be like a sexual flavor to them, like a life force flavor, like a pleasurable flavor to them of just like, and that's gone. Now, Chiron is conjunct the sun and the moon perfectly at this new moon. This is incredibly rare. It's incredibly rare. Everyone's talking about it. You've probably heard tons about it. But to really quickly recap, it's deep healing. It's deep healing of our deepest wounds. So this is how I talked about it in one of the circles we were working in, is it's deep wounds, and the wounds that we're working on are typically not the ones that we don't know about. They're the ones that are right in our face. They're the ones that you've kind of worked with your whole life. You were born into a family system with this wound. You've just always struggled with this thing your whole life. It's oftentimes the one that we kind of don't really want to look at, or we sort of want to pretend it's not there for a certain amount of time in our lives, right? We're all very, very different. But Chiron shows us that working with it is the wisdom. Like, we gain the wisdom when we work with it. The healing is actually the teaching and being taught by our journey through it. It's also the acceptance of this, like accepting I was born into this family pattern, accepting I was born into this body, accepting that I walk with a limp, accepting that whatever it is for us. And it's obviously all very, very unique for us, but this is a moment in time where we get to almost get into the wisdom of it. Like, here's the wisdom, and here's how it's part of my soul path forward. Here's how it's part of my destiny, right? It's massive. It's massive. Chiron work is enormous, as is this Hygeia Venus with the healing stuff, as is Asclepius, just adding to the healing potential of this particular new moon. So quick warning signs to watch out for is sweeping it under the carpet, not wanting to go there, avoiding it. We've got Saturn, Mars conjunct in Pisces. That's going to kind of give us this out of like, I'm fine, everything's fine. No need to worry about it. I'm going to numb out. I'm going to, I don't know, watch Netflix and drink a bunch of wine for a really good long time, and I'm just going to avoid the shit out of this. But if we don't do that, there is an enormous amount of remembering, reclaiming, and reawakening that can happen, right? It's like remembering our soul gifts, reclaiming our true selves, more parts of our true selves, right? And what was the third word I said? Remembering, reclaiming, and reawakening, right? Awakening, like awakening to true north potentials, awakening to more of what's on offer in this life. Y'all, eclipses are all about putting you on a tighter alignment and like propelling us fast and furiously down our destiny line. April 8th is not one to miss out on. It's not one to avoid or ignore. It's one to go big and heavy and hard on. It's one to do big practices around. It's one to set intentions, plant seeds, right? It's think new moon. It's a new chapter. So just because it's an eclipse and it's all kinds of crazy stuff doesn't mean it's not everything that a new moon is, right? So you want to do your new moon rituals, your new moon intentions, right? You want to do the new moon seed planting, the new chapters, the new, what's 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 the new. And then you want to hold on to that. And then you want to propel yourself with those seeds that you planted into that April 20th. That is a massive grace bomb. We will never see that again. That is crazy, 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 crazy amazing, right? And so we want to just really be setting ourselves up for that April 20th because it's going to be wild and beautiful and wonderful. If you don't have a thing to do around this eclipse, we have the Eclipse Workshop. It's 40% off, only until the 8th. If that sinks to you, type workshop in the comments. We'll send it to you. Again, the podcast that came out, that'll support you. There's 9 practices in that. I think that's all I got for you. This was a bit of a longer video. I love being here with you all. Would love to hear what is it that you're feeling the most in this eclipse. So if you feel like sharing, I would love to hear. I'm always in the comments, hanging out, reading everything. You guys are wonderful, and it's really beautiful to be here with you. But I'd love to hear, like, what is it for you? For me, it's the seed planting. For me, it's the seed planting. I know. And my team is building a bunch of stuff. I'm working on a bunch of stuff, like personally as well as in ReWilding, around like, wow, we're planting these seeds for this enormous potential that we feel. And we're going to invoke and invite in that Jupiter Uranus grace bomb, good luck, right? It's just like a bunch of Shakti, like a bunch of sacred energy to fuel, right? To fuel. But here's the trick about it. We got to be in alignment. So it's planting the seeds that are in alignment with our soul. They cannot be seeds that are in alignment with the ego because they will not work, because it's a destined time. It's a fated time. We won't get away with ego stuff, right? It will strip us back. It will strip us bare. We just cannot do that in an eclipse, which is what I love, because soul is loud, spirit is loud, ego can't get away with a whole lot. So if we make sure that those seeds are aligned with our soul, right? Plant the seeds now, do the work now, let go and release what we need to now. So then everything can be fueled. All that grace and all that good luck can just propel us into those things. I'm so excited for it. I would love to hear from you how this feels for you, what's coming up for you. There's a whole lot more to the eclipse, and so if there's something else that you want to share below, I'd love to hear. All right. Tons of love to you. Maybe I'll see you in the eclipse workshop. Again, if you just type workshop, we'll send it to you. Maybe I'll see you on the podcast. All right. Love you all.